starting again. So, Truth Tuesday today, we're going to be talking about the truth for successful sales conversations. So what makes sales calls convert? And I'm going to be sharing my 5 C's and how to deal with objections, plus the one thing that you need to focus on in order to have more successful sales conversations. So number 1 is clarity. Helping somebody feel more clear, understanding, shifting their perspective in some way, rather than just hearing about your program or hearing about all the things that you can offer people. You want them to gain clarity, have a transformational experience from getting on the phone with you. Something has shifted for them, something shifted in their perspective, their life, their mindset. They've gained something new from getting on the phone with you. That's number 1, clarity. Number 2 is coaching. Rather than telling people on a sales call what they need, what you offer, what to do about their situation, coaching them around this. So ask questions. Ask them, what do they want? What do they desire? What does success look like for them? What's getting in their way? So that they are having a transformational experience. But you want to be coaching them rather than telling somebody. It's very easy for somebody to say, ugh, I don't need that, if someone said to them, oh, you need this. Rather than if they came up with the idea that they needed that they wanted that something shifted in their perspective to be like, oh, that's what's getting in my way. What can I do? It gives the power back to them that they can change their situation, they can change their life, they can change their business, they can change their health, that they have the power rather than you coming in and saying, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, or you need to change this, or you don't have this, or you need to do this. It is much more powerful when it stems from something they desired, that's something that they came up with, their goal, that they understood something that was their responsibility and something that they do have the power to change. So we're empowering people with these calls. So 1, you're going to have clarity so that they have a transformational experience and they take away something. Hey Liz, thanks for joining me. It's awesome that you're here. So gaining clarity around something that they learn something new or shift a perspective, and then coaching them so that they know that they're empowered in some way. So the third one is number 3 is courage. So for some of my clients, they know I have a saying for this: the bold get hired. So you need to be courageous in the questions you ask them, courageous in the things you share, the things you're noticing about what you're seeing. What's happening, you have to be courageous in sharing that with them on the phone. Because if you're tiptoeing around it, if you're not really speaking your truth, and if you're not asking the bold questions on a sales conversation, they're not going to have the transformational experience. If you're not asking the bold questions, they're also not going to feel as empowered. They're not going to come up with solutions that could help them. So by being courageous, by saying the things that no other person, no other coach has said to them, no other friend or family or anyone they've spoken with before has ever said to them, like called them out on their shit basically, that's going to stand out in their mind. And that is going to lead us to the 4th one, which is connection. So they need to feel connected to you. And they're actually going to feel connected to you when they know that you're not tiptoeing around, because realistically, we don't hire people to be our best friend. So if you're just telling somebody the things that they want to hear, the things that they desire to hear, the things that make them feel good, they can get that from their friend. They can get that from their family. They're not going to pay money and hire somebody in order for them to just fill their cup up with nice compliments. So rather than complimenting them, be courageous in asking the tough questions. Be courageous in telling them what you're noticing on those calls. Be bold. The bold get hired. Number 4 is confidence. In order for you to be courageous, you need to feel confident in what you're doing. You need to feel confident in what you offer. You need to feel confident in who you are and how you can help them. And that's also going to help you to, for them to feel confident in hiring you. Because we are the first ones that people get their indication as to how they should feel around working with you. If you don't believe in your program, if you don't believe that you can help them, if you don't believe in your own power, then how is somebody else supposed to believe in it? So noticing, and this is something that you'll notice, is that when you do these sales calls, typically people hear the same sorts of things coming back to them. It's like, why do I always hear people say this? Or maybe it's actually, and I would say to you, maybe it's actually a belief that you have that's being mirrored by people in your sales conversations. So if you're hearing things often on a sales conversation, taking a step back and looking at how is this connected to me? How could this be a mirror of what I believe about my business, my services, my programs, my products? Noticing how what you see in people and what they reflect, or what they say to you, is a reflection back of what they're feeling and sensing and hearing and seeing. So if you're confident, if you exude confidence, if you believe in your program, if you believe in yourself and the way that you can help people, that is going to be reflected in your sales conversations. So the last part of this is connection. If you help them have a deep, transformational, powerful experience where they gain clarity, if you're courageous, if you coach them, if you're confident, then the last bit of it is like the connection piece. Like, do they feel connected to you? How can you create that in a sales conversation is by talking about stories. So stories about when you went through that experience, or stories about your clients who have been through that, who you've helped them. So give them examples of why they should feel confident, why you feel confident in the fact that you can help them, why you feel confident in your programs or packages. And build that connection by sharing, by being vulnerable, by speaking your truth, by helping them dig deeper, by not walking away when things get tougher, when things get a little bit uncomfortable. My own clients know that, I'm not afraid of silence. I'm not afraid of someone saying, you know what, I don't know. Great, that's what we're here for, not to find out what you already know. And if there's silence, great, take the silence, think about it. Again, we're not here to discuss things that they already know or that you already know, right? We're digging deeper into what's really happening here that no other person that they've gotten on the phone with them has helped them see or helped them move past. So that's why they're getting on the phone with you. So to recap, the 5 C's of successful sales calls is clarity, connection, courage, coaching, and confidence. If you can hit all 5 of those, guaranteed that you will have more successful coaching conversations and sales conversations. So what if I promised you guys that I would help you out with objections? So what if you're hearing a lot of, I can't afford it, or you know what, like, let me think about it, I'm not sure, can I get back to you, maybe next month, I need to ask my spouse. What's happening there? Number 1, we don't want to be needy, right? Like, needy is creepy. So you're there to support them, to help them, to dig deep and help them transform. So if that's what's happening, if you're really there to help them transform their lives, what's happening when they object is 2 things. They either have more questions, or they don't believe in themselves, right? They maybe don't believe that they are capable of this, or they have more fear. I guess that was 3 things, not 2. So fear, belief in themselves, and more questions. So what would somebody do if we were there just to support them if objections come up, instead of saying, okay, have a nice day, or you can't afford it, okay, have a good day. Like, hanging up the phone right when we get to that point. Like, asking them more questions around, okay, what else is coming up for you? What feelings are coming up? If they're saying, I need to think about it, well, what questions do you still have, right? What about if they say, well, I need to speak to my spouse? Okay, so what do you think is going to happen? What has happened in the past? What has held you back from moving forward in the past? What if you said yes now? Then what? Right? Like, digging deeper into likely the reason that they're still stuck, the reason they're still on the phone with you, the reason they haven't hired somebody yet or they haven't gotten results yet is because there's some layer there that we still yet have not connected to. There's still some fear, there's still some questions, there's still some belief in themselves or something that some stories that they believe about themselves, mindset shifts, things like that, identities that have not allowed them to move forward from that point on. So that's actually where the digging deep can really happen, where the transformation can happen, where the courage needs to come in, where you need to be courageous in asking those tough questions of like, okay, well, what's happened in the past when you've spoken with people and you felt really connected? Like, is this the right program for you? Do you have more questions? Are there still fears coming up? Like, what could get in your way of moving forward and making this change? So that's how I would deal with objections, reminding yourself that what fears are coming up for them, ask more questions, and explore more, dig more deeply into what could be holding them back from moving forward right now. What would be what happens if they what happens if they say no? That's another one that is a really good question to ask. Like, okay, so give them some sort of reason to sign up, create some scarcity. Why do they need to sign up now? But also connecting with themselves. What will happen if you don't do this? What's going to happen if you wait till tomorrow? What's going to happen if your spouse says no? Hey, LaToya, thanks for joining me. What's going to happen if your spouse says no? What's going to happen if you wait a month? What's going to happen if you wait a year? So digging into this with them when those objections come up is going to drastically shift how they move forward with you, the connection they feel with you, and your booking of clients. Because likely, again, those are questions that nobody has asked them. It's likely that point where everyone has said, okay, have a great day, hope to speak to you soon. So spend the time. I do not offer a lot of these types of sessions, strategy sessions or business builder sessions or clarity sessions. I don't offer a lot of those per week because I'd rather offer the ones I do have per week and have deep, powerful sessions with those people, give them the space and time that they need to explore, to do the deep work. And rather than doing it with like so many people, now it is a numbers game to an extent. You will have a lot of calls. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have people that don't show up for my calls during the week. I still have people that say no. I don't have 100% conversion rate on those calls either, although it does get a lot higher as you go through this, as you get into your groove and you get into your way of doing things. But noticing that just because you don't see it, everyone that offers calls with people is getting no's. They are seeing the word no, they're hearing the word no, they're getting people that don't show up, they're getting people that say yes and then back out. Again, that's a fear story. Again, that's something that's coming up for them that's not allowing them to move forward. We can support them and help them. And the person that helps them, the person that supports them, the person that is there during that with them and journeys through that is the person that's also going to be able to help them make these big changes and make these big shifts in their life, their health, their business, whatever it is. So be that person for them. Focus on quality over quantity. Yeah, quality over quantity. Focus on less people, having less of those calls, but really powerful calls. How can you screen people? This is something I'm big about. How can you screen people before you allow them to get on the phone with you? How can you screen them even after they've booked a call with you to make sure they show up? How can you help people show up? Like, do you set reminders for them? Do you speak to them before? Do you connect with them on social media? Do you do any of these things to help them feel connected to you and to help them show up, help them move forward? Because a lot of the time we book these free calls or we book sales calls in a fleeting moment where we felt like it was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then by the time that call actually happens, then we're like, oh no, actually, I don't really feel like I need that anymore. Like, oh, actually, I'm not really interested. Hey, Amber. Hey, Charlie. Oh my gosh. Hey, Caroline. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining. Oh, hey. Oh my gosh. Hey, guys. Thank you. No's are scary. Yes, they are definitely scary. No's are definitely scary. And by the way, we hear them all the time. And it gets so much easier every single time. At the beginning, I always tell this to my clients. My very first time that I met my dream client, literally my dream client, I typed to my coach an email that said, I have never in my life felt like I was so meant to work with somebody. She is exactly like me. She's perfect. Oh my God, whoopsies. In every single way. I'm destined to work with her. And then she said no. She had said yes, and then she said no. And she sent me this email, and I literally cried on my couch. And I'm sure now most of my clients know, like, it was Amanda. And, like, Amanda knows, she always says sorry. Like, but in the end, we did work together because that connection really was there. And there are things that you can do to help people through those fears. Yeah, like, and every single time, thank you, Latoya. Yes, like, we all remember it. I see it happen with most of my one-to-one clients. I think I've seen it happen. It's like a rite of passage where you find that dream client and then they say no and you're like, oh my goodness. And you know what? They come back because we are there. The bold, the courageous business owner doesn't sit down and wallow and cry, oh my gosh, they said no. It's like, what shifted for them from saying yes to saying no? What shifted for them in that time frame? What fears are coming up for them? What are they still unsure about? What needs to shift for them to say yes? So those are the most important parts. Now, if you forget everything I just told you, you can forget all the C's, you can forget all the objections. If you forget everything, just focus on one thing. The one thing you need to focus on to make your sales calls successful is them. If the focus is always on them, on their story, on their struggles, on how they feel, what they want, what's getting in their way, if you focus the entire conversation on them and what they want and what's not working and what is working and what they need and what they desire, that is the only thing you need to focus on, and I guarantee you that your sales conversations will be much more successful because people buy with feeling. People buy from feeling connected to you. People buy from seeing and feeling and experiencing the transformation, experiencing that feeling of, I need to work with this person. Like, look at what's shifted for me in this small, short conversation that I had with them. And that's where the magic happens. If you feel connected, they feel connected to you, and you focus on them and their story and how you can help them and support them. Rather than how I can help them, it's what do they need? What do they want? Right? What do you need? What do you want? What support do you need? Yes, great. I'm so happy to hear that, Latoya. It's all about them. That includes your copy. I know we're not talking about that, but that includes your copy. That includes your programs. That includes your sales pages, your webinars, literally your videos, everything. It's about them. It's about you. I mean, in this video, not on the sales call, but it's about them, not me, not you in the sales call. And if you can forget every single thing, clarity, courage, connection, coaching, and confidence, if you forget all of those, if you forget how to deal with objections, if you forget about feelings, if you forget about fears, just focus on them. Ask them more questions. Ask them what they need, what would help them. And that's all I got for you guys. So know that we all here knows. Know that that your dream clients are out there. And even if they say no, that just means that there are more of them out there. This or something better. They might come back if you help them through their fear, because if they said yes and now they're saying no, that just means that something has shifted for them. And that's an opportunity for you to be the courageous coach and help them where nobody else has in the past. So help them move forward, be there for them, and come join my Ladies Living Courageously group for some encouragement on taking bold, courageous steps in your business, because that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about being the bold one, being the badass, be different from everyone else. Just be you. Create the space, create the container to help people, to be helpful, and to build deep, powerful, honest connections, because social media is great, but it's really about the personal connections, not about the likes, comments, engagement, etc. Although I do appreciate you guys joining me. I love that, because these are real people, and I hope that you guys will join me for more real discussions in my Ladies Living Courageously Facebook group, in my Leap into Ladypreneurship group program. My one-to-one is closed right now, but you can join the Leap program. And then when my one-to-one opens up again, then if I have some more spots, you guys are welcome to them. If you're struggling, if you don't know what's happening on your sales calls, that is the opportunity for you to reach out. Ask for support, ask for help. Notice that, I didn't know how to do this at the beginning either, and I had to ask for support. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween, and happy Truth Tuesday. This is the truth about sales calls, and I hope all of you guys have powerful, badass sales conversations this week. Thank you guys. Bye.